Hello, I'm Emily Cricket and today I have some good news. I've been diagnosed with Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome, also known as POTS. This is really good news for me because I've been living with a diagnosis of ME or chronic fatigue syndrome for 11 years. Although there isn't a fixed treatment plan that works for POTS, it is a little bit more guided than what's out there at the moment for ME. POTS is a type of dysautonomia, which means it's a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. When I stand up, my blood vessels don't contract properly to work against gravity, so all my blood sort of starts to pool in my feet and it leaves me feeling lightheaded, dizzy, headachy, and it also can contribute to fatigue because as a result of all my blood pooling in my feet, my heart races to compensate and fires off adrenaline, which makes me even more exhausted than I would be without having ME. I don't think POTS has replaced my diagnosis of ME, I think I have both, but at the moment I don't know how much my symptoms are caused by one or the other. So I'm hoping to start treating my POTS, which will make my symptoms decrease, and if I'm very lucky and I've got much more POTS than I've got ME, then I'll get a lot better. The cardiologist at my appointment on Monday suggested I do 4 things to help me along with that. The first is to drink 2 to 3 litres of water a day, and I'll know I'm drinking enough if my urine is nearly colourless. Second, he suggests I buy some compression stockings to keep the blood in my legs sort of squeezed up. I haven't done anything about that yet, but I believe there are some fashion stockings around, so if you know where I can buy some of those, please let me know. The other 2 things he suggested I do are to start to train my autonomic system to work properly. So he said to tilt up my bed by 10 degrees, which is quite a lot. And the last thing was to stand regularly but never for too long. If you've had ME for a long time and you've never been tested for POTS, I think it's a really worthwhile thing doing. When I first heard about it, I thought, well, there's no definite treatment for that either, so why would I want to be diagnosed with something else that has no cure? Being diagnosed with POTS is a different ballgame because there's just that little bit more understood about the condition. It's easier to understand yourself or to explain to your doctors or other people. I've only had it for 5 minutes and I can already explain it better than something I've had for 11 years. I've mentioned some of the POTS-like symptoms, but there are other things I and my friends with ME noticed we had, like getting really cold hands and feet, never wearing pink nail varnish on our toes because our feet were always red, that feeling of you have to lie down right this second, or being so dizzy and lightheaded it feels like you've just been hit over the head with a cartoon hammer. These are all things that I'm now thinking, well, might have been a sign of POTS. Of course these might be just things people with ME have anyway. I'm not really an expert, I'm just sharing my experience. One really quick test you can do yourself to find out if you might fit the criteria for POTS is to test your heart rate when you're sat down and when you stand up. I use this free app which is called Heart Rate, and all you do is put your finger over the lens and it measures your pulse by shining a light through your finger. So at the moment mine is 86, it's a bit lower if I'm not making a video and I'm sitting down. Now I'm taking it standing up. It used to jump up a bit higher than this. 99. This is the lowest heart rate I've got standing up so far. I guess all that water's doing its work. Obviously this isn't a clinical diagnosis, but it might just give you a bit of an indicator. There's another app called Stand Test, which I found difficult to use on my own, but if you've got someone there who can take your pulse for you, that might give you even more of an idea of whether you've got POTS or not. If you have POTS, please leave your tips and tricks for me to read in the comments below. And if you think you might have POTS, I'll leave things in the description for you to read, or you can check out my other videos. If you're new to my videos, please subscribe to see how I get on with all this, and I'll see you in another video soon. I hope you're having a brilliant day.